A very good morning to all of you and welcome to the session. The Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. As usual, let us start with the snippets. The very first one, bilateral move. When you see the word bilateral, you should understand between two countries, two organizations. And here this snippet talks about India Bahrain hold talks on boosting ties, improving ties, relationships. All simple words we have got many a time. Let us go to the second snippet, something very important. Nicobar project, map readied amid forest rights challenge. There are two words here. One is amid and also Nicobar. You all know the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and hence also you can say. Before we go to the snippet, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Before groups of islands, we should use a definite article, the, that you have to recollect. And map readied, amidst, both mean the same. In the middle of something. Amid forest rights challenge. Someone has challenged forest rights based on that. In spite of that, the map has been readied. Here we have another one, case in Supreme Court. Report finds Byron audio was tampered. I'm sure all youngsters know the word tamper. Tampering something means altering something. Phone tamper, call tamper, tape tamper, audio tamper. Here it talks about audio was tampered. Means they have done something to the audio. An important word, but quite familiar to many language learners. Coming to the next one, changing times. India's IT dream is at a crossroads. Very important idiom. They have given many a time. At a crossroads, usually crossroads we think of RTC crossroads, some other crossroads, but here it is an idiomatic expression. What does it mean? Uncertain. Something is uncertain at a crossroads. You cannot decide. And then we use this idiom important. India's IT dream is at a crossroads. The transition means change, will be painful. Change is always painful. And about change, Charles Darwin said something. Nothing is constant in this world except the constant change. That's wonderful. And but it can also be purposeful. Look at the wording, painful, purposeful. Difficult to take a difficult situation, you can say. And coming to the transition, the change will be painful, but at the same time, it can also be purposeful. There's some purpose to be achieved. Change is always like that. Here you can see stray dogs, violation of order, SC flags. Here we have two words, flags, marks. Flags what? Feeding of stray dogs on government premises. We have a few words. First one is violation, not following rules and regulations. And you have to recollect, comply with, adhere to, stick to, abide by. Then we use the word violation of order. And flags mark something as important or to be considered. Flags what? Feeding. Feed is a verb. What are the forms? Feed, fed, fed. Of stray dogs. Stray dogs, stray children also we can say. For stray children we use the word street urchins. Have you heard of that any time? Street urchins, stray dogs, stray children, orphans, all the words you have to recollect. On government premises means the surroundings. Surroundings is one important word. Environs. Environs means the surroundings. That's an important word they have given a few times. Coming to the main headline, another tragic incident on the outskirts of Hyderabad or near Hyderabad. 19 dead as truck rams bus near Hyderabad. There's one important word, rams, collide, collision, ram into something. And because of this, a tripper and a bus collided because of that collision. Unfortunately, 19 people died. 19 dead as struck a Rams bus near Hyderabad. And court prepares murder charges against Darshan. You can see the Kannada actor Darshan, and the court prepares murder charges. He has been accused of murder. Already, we have read many a time. UAE is supplying arms to the RSF, Sudanese envoy. It goes with supplying arms to militant groups. And who has said that Sudanese, Sudan, Northeast country, I suppose, Northeast African country. I'm not quite sure about the location, but I'm sure African country and envoy, ambassador, you have to recollect diplomat, these words. 7,500 crore assets of Anil Ambani Group attached. Anil Ambani has been in the limelight not for good reasons, in a way for wrong reasons. And based on that, against that backdrop, 7,500 crore assets of Anil Ambani Group attached. Here you can see a very colorful, impact making pic. Beam therapy, you can see all the beams, light rays. A rehearsal for a laser light show. What is this about? Laser light show was held ahead of the Dev Diwali celebrations at Chet Singh Fort in Varanasi on Monday. Perhaps they're using it for therapy. Based on that, the word therapy has been used. Beam therapy. Shift focus to nutrition security, PM tells scientists. Nutrition security. No one should die of famine and no one should die of starvation. And whatever food one takes should be nutritious. That's also equally important. Otherwise, it results in malnutrition. Keeping that in mind, shift focus to nutrition security. PM tells scientists. 3,000 crore lost to digital arrest scams, says Supreme Court. You all know about this and have done an editorial also. Digital arrest scam. Someone gets a call and someone says, I'm so and so person representing so and so country, you'll be arrested. They get scared and they lose a lot of money. And to the tune of 3,000 crore lost to digital arrest scams. You all know the word scam, something illegal, says Supreme Court. Coming to the last one, revision of poll rolls begins in 12 states and UTs today, Union Territories today. Revision of poll rolls, SAR. This has become quite controversial. I have done a few editorials. Initially launched in Bihar. Now they want to spread across the country. And based on that, this article, an important one you have to read. Revision of poll rolls begins in 12 states and union territories today. Yes, says reporting verb is in present, then the tenses don't change to a corresponding past tense. That's all from the front page of today's Hindu paper. There are two editorials, short editorials. One deals with women's cricket. India has won the World Cup, but I have not chosen that one. I have chosen a Kerala story. This is all about eradication, complete eradication of abject poverty. And you may ask me, sir, why have you chosen this one? Because it goes with a third world country, it goes with economy, it goes with socio-cultural problems. Exam point of view, this is more relevant, apt, and important, indispensable. Besides that, there are so many words you can learn from this editorial. Let us see what it is. To tell in a nutshell about the editorial, it is all about Kerala has achieved a lot of things, and we can say it is a model state for other states, exemplary performance in so many realms or spheres or domains. First, it became very popular with 100% literacy, literate state. Literacy means here literate, illiterate. A person who can read and write, we use the term literate. A person who cannot read and write, we use a term illiterate. And Kerala has a distinction of, mind you, not the dubious distinction, has a distinction of the first state to achieve 100% literacy. Ever since that, it has achieved many milestones. This talks about another milestone achieved by Kerala state and a Kerala story. Eradicating poverty should be seen as a never ending task. Writer has expressed mixed feelings, positive on the one hand, negative on the other hand, but not exactly negative, a word of caution, analytical and a word of caution, cautionary, the tone of the editorial. And here he appreciates the Kerala state to a great extent. And whatever Kerala state has done, it is praiseworthy, commendable job. What is the meaning of commendable? Please remove that. Vamsi, please remove something has popped up. I can't see the comments. Thank you. And here, uh, coming to this Kerala state, eradicate means what? To remove completely, a root out. You have to think of annihilation, a root out, eradicate. But based on the context, we use these words. You got to be a little careful. Eradicating poverty should be seen as a never ending task. No doubt the writer, the editorial appreciates, says what the state has done is highly commendable. At the same time, something like eradicating poverty is not something you can say, okay, we have done it, our job is done. It is something like never ending task. New problems come, and we may see here and there scattered, sporadic incidents of abject poverty. And based on that, the writer says a word of caution. It's a never ending task. All said and done, the writer, the editorial appreciates the state to a great extent. Let us see how it starts and how it goes about. Kerala, known for its exemplary record. Today, the editorial, so many words are there, and all are important from the exam point of view. Mission impossible, never ending mission, you can say. Not mission impossible, never ending, perpetual mission, never ending mission. And exemplary, when someone does something outstanding, incredible, then we say others try to emulate that one. Copy is a negative word, emulate is a positive word. They try to emulate. Then they set the example, they become a role model. Then we use the word exemplary. Exemplary performance, an important word you have to remember. Kerala, known for its exemplary record in social and human development. On two fronts, it has become exemplary. And you can also think of the word epitome. What is the meaning of the word epitome? A perfect example to be emulated, a perfect example to be copied or emulated, better word. Social and human development, and for healthcare systems comparable to those of developed nations. This is something highly appreciable. Whatever they have achieved on the social front, human development, and healthcare systems, the writer says, the editorial says, comparable to those of, very important, those of developed nations. This is a very important pattern because many a time different competitive exams have given the the climate of Bombay is better than Vizag. Is that right or wrong? The climate of Bombay is better than Vizag. Wrong. Dissimilar comparison. Here we are trying to compare the climate of Bombay, the climate of Vizag. Then we cannot say that particular expression we cannot use. The climate of Bombay is better than that of Vizag. That way, the days in December are better than those in August. You cannot say than August. You cannot compare the days and the month. The days in December are better than those in August. And the same pattern comparable to those of developed nations. Means whatever developed nations have achieved, Kerala almost same level it has achieved. And that is highly commendable. What is the reason? Today, when we talk about the entire world, in the past we had three worlds: the first world, the second world, the third world. What is the first world? Capitalist countries, industrially developed capitalist countries. Second world, industrially developed communist countries. Now they are not in the limelight. And the third world, socialist countries, a mix of public sector, private sector, and developing or underdeveloped. And any developing country, they try to reach the standards of the first world. Third world countries always try to reach the standards of the first world. And based on that, here, we can use any number of nouns, that is not an issue. Who said that? Two nouns cannot be used in one sentence. Who said that? Never go with fixed ideas like that. who is this? Whoever, many students, because of lack of awareness, they think in a sentence we should use only one noun, one phrase, one verb. No, that is absolutely wrong. Depends on the sentence. Imagine it's a complex sentence. You can use two verbs. A simple sentence, you can use any number of nouns. There's no restriction as such. Looks like a new student to this platform, comparable to those of developed nations, achieved another milestone, an important landmark, on its 69th Formation Day on November 1st. What is that milestone? The eradication of extreme poverty. You have to be careful when you read this. Here, we are not talking about eradication of poverty. That is, in my opinion, not no problem. No need to say sorry. I appreciate your spirit. Good, you have got it. And coming to eradication of poverty, even in the first world, if you take a country like the US, we come across beggars. In the past, it was not like that, but today poverty is there in the first world, in the developed countries. We also use the expression the North group. But extreme poverty, what are we talking about? Extreme poverty. Poverty, you have to think of words like poverty, poor, penury, and destitution. Destitution, an important word. This resulted from a 4 year, it has not happened overnight. And there's a saying in English, what is it? Rome was not built in a day. And it has not happened, hasn't happened over 1 or 2 years, but it has taken a long, how many years? 4 years. And that too meticulously planned. Coming to this resulted from a 4 year meticulously planned. You all know the word meticulous. I have used many a time. What is the meaning of meticulous? Looking at the minutest details. Very important word. And here we have meticulously planned program. This resulted from a 4 year meticulously planned program involving a gamut. Another important word. What is the meaning of gamut? Gamut means a range, the magnitude, the spread of something. But the right words are a range or magnitude, gamut, they all mean the same. A gamut of agencies spearheaded by, another important word. Today's editorial, in my opinion, a very useful editorial. So many important words are there and deals with poverty, extreme poverty, abject poverty, destitution. Definitely, from third world point of view, an important one. You may get as a passage in the exam. Spearhead means to direct something, to take in the right direction. Spearheaded by, led by the local self-government department alongside extensive community participation. Two things. One is from the government side, the other one, community participation also equally important. That makes a lot of difference. And when you see the word alongside, you have to think of with, along with, as well as. All these are so many I give usually, like, unlike. The verb agrees with the first subject, that you have to recollect. It was during the first cabinet meeting of the second LDF government led by Pinarayi Vijayan in May 2021 that the Extreme Poverty Eradication Program. They have come up with a program. What is the name of that program? EPEP. What does it mean? Extreme Poverty Eradication Program was launched. Was launched, past tense passive voice. They launched something, past tense active voice. Something was launched by them, past tense passive voice. Successive state governments deserve credit for Kerala's people-centric development. Here, deserve credit, successive, means over a period of time, the state governments, whoever was in power, they deserve credit for Kerala's people-centric development. This is again very important, useful when it comes to descriptive English. Descriptive English, there is something called power words, and they feed these power words to the computer. When you use these words, you get maximum marks. People-centric, student-centric, Very important expression, customer centric. You have to use these words. People centric development and decentralized planning, which ensured what? Poverty reduced from 59.8% in 1973-74 to 11.3% in 2011-12. Where is almost 60%, where is about 12%. That is substantial reduction in poverty. Niti Aayog's National Multidimensional Poverty Index, another important word. Tell me, why is it important? You have to think of nouns of Latin and Greek origin. They don't take S or ES for plural forms. Criterion, criteria. Phenomenon, phenomena. Memorandum, memoranda. And here, index, indices or indexes. Matrix, matrices. Radius, radii. Syllabus, syllabi. All these you have to recollect. Index 2023 stated that Kerala was the least impoverished state. Another word I use is quite often. Impoverish. I use expression intellectual impoverishment. Impoverished means to lack something, lack of knowledge, lack of intellectual caliber. We use expression intellectual impoverishment. I always tell students, why should you read the Hindu paper? Not only from the selection point of view, but also from career point of view, you have to read the Hindu paper. When you don't read the Hindu paper or any English paper for that matter, or any important magazine, intellectual enrichment does not take place. And because of that, eventually you become intellectually impoverished, means nothing here. And once Mark Twain, American writer, said, there's no difference between a person who cannot read. There's no difference between a person who cannot read and a person who can read but does not read. A person cannot read, zero knowledge. A person who can read but does not read, zero knowledge. Both at the same level. And both show intellectual impoverishment. An important word they have given many a time. Niti Aayog's National Multidimensional Poverty Index stated that Kerala was the least impoverished state based on the head count ratio. Just 0.55% of Kerala's population was multidimensionally poor. This is phenomenal, astonishing, and highly admirable. 0.55% of Kerala's population was multidimensionally poor, far below the national average of 14.96%. What is the national? See, this editorial is useful from current affairs point of view as well. What is the national average of poverty, multidimensional poverty, according to Niti Aayog's report? 14.96%. And how much is it when it comes to Kerala? 0.55%. Yes, multi-dimensional Sangeeta, good. You have to think of multi-dimensional, multi-pronged, multifaceted. All these words you have to recollect. Instead of relying on an important phrasal verb, combination is important, rely on, depend on, count on, bank on. You have to recollect all the phrasal verbs. Instead of relying on self-enrollment, the government deployed. We have got this word many a time. I usually tell it goes with police, army. Whenever there is a problem in a particular city, the local government will deploy police or army in strategic positions so that any eventuality they can deal with that within no time. Deployed nearly 4 lakh trained enumerators, another important word. Usually this word enumerate goes with the signs. Enumerate means list out. What does it mean? List out one by one. We use the word enumerate. It has deployed nearly 4 lakh trained enumerators supported by a robust, strong local body system and Kudumbashri workers to identify the abjectly poor. Another important word, abject, abjectly poor, very poor, extremely poor. This is one important word they have given many a time. After several levels of vetting, means a checking, 64,006 extremely poor families comprising 1,03,99 individuals, many lacking basic documents, were identified based on the 4-point criteria of access to food, health, means of livelihood, and housing. The 4 dimensions. Based on these dimensions, the criteria, as I said, criterion singular, criteria plural. They have identified about 1 lakh plus people who are extremely poor. A uniform solution was inadequate for such diverse needs. Now imagine you have identified there are four areas: food, health, means of livelihood, and housing. You cannot take something like one particular approach and say this is applicable to all the groups. The groups are heterogeneous groups. Then there's a saying in English: when you go to the private sector, when you talk to the management people, they say different strokes for different folks. Have you heard of this any time? Different strokes for different folks means based on the needs you have to reach them. You cannot come up with a particular thing and say this is applicable to all the groups. This sentence talks about that. Uniform solution was inadequate, may not be useful for such diverse needs. Different needs, then you cannot use the same uniform solution, not adequate. Based on that, necessitating an experiment in welfare governance. What is that experiment? The preparation of custom made micro plans. Another important expression: custom made, tailor made. And all these words you have to use when you write an essay or letter or report writing or situation analysis. These are all very important. Custom made, tailor made means specific to a particular group. The preparation of custom made micro plans for each identified family. They have taken individual families and they have come up with solutions. That is incredible. And the provision of essential support such as identification documents, housing, livelihoods, regular medicine, cooked meals, palliative, 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 I'm sorry, here it has, they have divided. Palliative care, and in some cases organ transplants. They have gone for that also. And the point here, they have taken individual family approach. They have not taken a general approach. All these are like tailor made, custom made. Combating, another important word we have got many a time. What is the meaning of combat? Combat means fight. Combating means fighting. Combating poverty is a never ending task. Main idea is being reiterated. And criticism of the claim of erasing extreme poverty, particularly regarding the plight of the tribal population, is inescapable. See, so many words here, we have so many words. Plight. That is, it means something like, I'm not quite sure, but what it means something like, it is not the actual solution, but it provides some sort of relief. Then we use this particular word. It's a medical term. And plight means that situation where a person experiences anxiety, distress. And this word came into the limelight at the time of lockdown, COVID, then lockdown, and all the newspapers would write plight of migrant workers. And it also goes with any group: plight of students, plight of migrant workers, plight of tribal population. And that criticism saying that the claim of erasing extreme poverty, particularly regarding the plight of tribal population, is inescapable. Though they have, though they claim extreme poverty has been eradicated, some sort of criticism, beyond any doubt. Any work you have, at least 10% people criticize. Critics are always there. But to what extent it can be justified, that is a $1,000,000 question. And here, to talk about that criticism, they have taken the example of the plight of the tribal population, and that cannot be escaped. They have to answer that. But overall, we look at the 80%, not 10% or 20%. Then we say it is good or bad. The state government has launched EP 2.0 to prevent relapse and to ensure that no new household falls into extreme poverty. It should not happen again. To prevent that relapse means what? To happen again, to occur again. They want to avoid that. Based on that, they have launched another program, and they want to make sure a new family doesn't come into that particular framework, extreme poverty. The LDF has pledged to tackle all forms of poverty in mission mode. Another important phrase you have to remember, in mission mode, has pledged, has taken the oath to remove or tackle, deal with all forms of poverty in mission mode. You have to recollect another important idiom. What is that? When you try to work on something with a lot of effort, intensity, and urgency, then we say work on war footing. They are working on war footing. That is also equally important. Critics of the Kerala model have cited present perfect active voice and CITE cite quote. You have to recollect other words like SIGHT SITE cite, which goes with the plot. Critics of this model, what do they say? Critics of the Kerala model have often cited stagnant growth and rising unemployment as evidence of its perceived failure. There are critics all the time, and they have reasons to criticize. Coming to Kerala state model, what do the critics say? They have pointed out two things. One goes with unemployment, and the other goes with stagnant growth. Stagnant means what? No movement at all. Usually it goes with water, stagnant water, but stagnant economy, no development. One point, and the other one, a rising unemployment. A rise, rose, risen, a raise, erased, erased. That you have to recollect as evidence of its perceived failure. Based on these two things, they say Kerala state model has failed. But not exactly. Kerala state has done something to deal with these issues as well. The state has accelerated. Another important word, accelerate, means what? Speed up. And what is the other word? Expedite. Expedite, accelerate, speed up. The state has accelerated major infrastructure projects, and that is towards to deal with that stagnant growth criticism, and also projects and high-tech green industries to bridge the deficit in these areas. They're doing something. High-tech green industries to bridge the deficit in these areas. Whatever is lagging, whatever they lack, they try to fill the gaps. It has also been skilling the educated. Coming to unemployment, that particular dimension, what has the state done? It has also been skilling. It has been skilling. Which tense is that? Present perfect continuous. When do we use present perfect continuous? Actions begin in the past, come to the present, may go into future. It has been skilling. It has also been skilling the educated to alleviate. Alleviate, we have got so many times, to reduce. What are the other words you have to recollect? Alleviate, assuage, mitigate, all the words you have to recollect. Joblessness. That is good, they're doing something. How does it conclude? The EP shows that progressive governance can be rooted in welfareism. Progressive governance, thinking of progress, progressive governance can be rooted in, can be deep rooted also, you can say, in what? Welfareism and growth simultaneously. Two things are required. One is welfare attitude, welfareism, the other one, growth, development, without compromising social safety or sustainability. Without any compromise, without compromising what? Social safety. And the other dimension, which is equally important, sustainability. You all know the word sustainable. Two meanings. One is to maintain something, the other one to use the resources wisely, thinking of the future generations. The largely community driven model may not be flawless. May not be flawless. That means could be. May is used for what? Two functions. One, it is used to express permission, formal and very polite, like may I come in, sir. Second, it is used to express a possibility. Chances are more. May not be flawless. Flaw means what? Mistake. Flawless without any mistakes. He speaks flawless English, impeccable English. There may be flaws, but that is not important. But it is self evolving and strengthens democracy. It is improving, it is learning, it is self evolving. And that process strengthens democracy at the grassroots. Another important word. I have come across for the first time an editorial that has so many important words, so many words that are important from the exam point of view. One editorial, so many words I have never come across. This is for the first time. Grassroots, what are the words I usually give? People at the lowest level, underprivileged, downtrodden, backward communities, grassroots level people at the grassroots. It presents an alternative development paradigm, another important word. Paradigm has two or three meanings. Here it is like a model, an alternative development paradigm, a Kerala story worth propagating. Every sentence there are important words. That is unique, something unique about this editorial. In every sentence, we see words that are important from competitive exams point of view. That way, this editorial, in my opinion, definitely worth reading, and so much is there to learn. The word propagate goes with plants actually, but it also goes with paradigm shift means important, vital, crucial shift. That also you have to recollect. Good Naidu. And propagate ideas, propagate some model. Here, spreading. What does it mean? Spread. A Kerala story worth propagating, worth telling others. A wonderful editorial. You guys have to read and learn. There's so much to learn, so many words. Yes, 20 words. Who is this? Sukesh says 20 words, sir. And all these words they have given many a time in different competitive exams. All indispensable words, essential words, power words, effective words. Spend some time, very useful editorial. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.